All right, folks, welcome back. I want to talk now about our nation, our animal spirits, and the origins of where they come from. The Protestant work ethic, which became the American work ethic, I think that's at the core, right? Think about the Protestant work ethic, a focus on long working hours, eschewing idleness, saving money, accumulating resources while investing for future benefit. I mean, that's just like animals that live for their communities and future generations. Now, this work ethic, it does the same with extra motivation for God's glory. Now, it's not unique to America, but unfortunately, it only exists in pockets in Europe right now. I do want you to check out this. This is a coin from 1582 Antwerp. The words say frugality, and justice equal prosperity. And this is why when politicians call for a war on big business, which, by the way, is on the ballot next month, what they're really talking about is a war on successful small businesses. I mean, think about this. Consider the nation's largest employers and where they started these businesses. Amazon's got 1.5 million workers. It started in Bellevue, Washington. FedEx has 500,000 workers. It started in Memphis, Tennessee with one plane. Home Depot, 460,000 workers. It started in Marietta, Georgia. That's not where booms start. Target, 400,000 workers. It started in Minneapolis. And then there's Walmart. Walmart began with its first store in Rogers, Arkansas, the year I was born. That's amazing stuff, folks. Now, again, I mentioned that there are pockets of this animal spirits that still exist in Europe. There's an area in Sweden that's known as Småland. And guess what the characteristics are? Resourcefulness, frugality, they're very religious and community-driven, entrepreneurship. And on a visit in 1897, the King of Sweden, King Oscar II, he made an interesting remark. He said, how fortunate it is for such a poor area, one of the most barren in the country, that through ingenuity and resourcefulness of the local people have found a new and profitable and at the same time unique way to make a living. By the way, one of the companies that was born there may be familiar to you, IKEA. Sadly, though, the animal spirits have been drowned out in Europe by socialism and the Green Movement across the entire continent. It's a different it's a difference right now between that and America, because in America, everyone still, to a degree, believes they can be extraordinary, that they can achieve any dream. In fact, when Tocqueville came to this country, he came here, he wrote Democracy in America. Now, he came here originally to study our prison system, but he was fascinated. As he interviewed Americans, he was not only fascinated, he was offended, right? Because everywhere he went, every American thought they could be anything they wanted to be. And let me just read some of the reasons that it offended him, because in Europe, it was all about the aristocracy. Aristocratic societies always include with them, in the midst of a multitude of individuals who can do nothing by themselves. In aristocratic societies, men have no need to unite. Each wealthy and powerful citizen in them is the head of a permanent and obligatory association. So essentially, you can't do anything if you're not part of the aristocracy. Amazing. I want to bring it out with us, the Hoover Institute at Stanford University, Senior Fellow Victor Davis Hansen. And Victor, you know, I just want to get your thoughts on why right now there's this growing resentment toward the rugged individualism that propelled our nation and the notion of the Protestant work ethic.
Well, I think we're kind of complacent, Charles, that we reached a level of affluence and leisure that people forgot how it came about or where it came from. They just assume it's a birthright, and they don't realize that we were one of the only countries where we kind of replaced birth and race by wealth. In other words, wealth and success gave a person social status and was open to anybody, and that's impossible in most of the world today, where your religious status or your superficial appearance, who your parents were, where you were born, adjudicates where you end up. But here we said, you can be an immigrant, you can be a poor person, but if you were able to create wealth and take care of friends and community and be magnanimous with it, we're going to bestow on you social status. So you can be on the board of a corporation, you can be on the board of trustees of a university. We want you because you've displayed that ingenuity that helps not only yourself and your family and your community, but the nation at large.
So, you know, I mean, we're watching now great nations of Europe. They're fading mightily in terms of global economics and influence. How endangered right now is the United States of the same fate?
Well, we have an enormous debt, as you've mentioned, $36 trillion. And the problem with it is that we don't have people that understand the dangers of it, printing money, enlarging the money supply. Every time we do this, we bring in a theory from the university, modern monetary theory, that says there is no such thing as oversupply of money because the government has a monopoly. All of these bankrupt, jaded ideas. So the danger that I see it is that traditional worries about the money supply, debt, the need for frugality, productivity, they're being excused or they're being rationalized away by our theory class.
Right.
And we don't have enough people that are informed to object.
So, Victor, there are different forms of government, and our founders, they had the wisdom to decide on a republic to protect us against the tyranny of the majority. And I've been really studying over the last few years, and it's interesting to me because one thing I read that struck me is that if we abandon this current form right now, again, of a republic with limited government powers, we'll go to a monarchy with tyranny will rule. If the republic fails, what happens?
Well, we end up either into an autocracy run by one or two people or a radical French revolutionary majority. And notice that the left is always trying to attack the idea of a republic. They're going after the Electoral College without any idea what the founders said about it, that it was necessary to protect rural interests, geographical interests, the integrity of balloting, the power of individual states under federalism. They're going after 170 years of a 9-person court. They're going after bringing in new states without any idea that could be very dangerous unless there were balanced, one conservative, one liberal at the same time. Yeah. But what's the rationale for it? It's power of the majority without any check.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that we are not here by accident, right? We know how we got here. Why dismantle it? I got a minute to go, but I want to ask you, because you've studied history, you've written dozens of books. I still think that there's something very special about America. I know, we complain about the young folks and materialism and celebrityism and all that kind of stuff, but do you think we are capable at this point of a course correction?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we have we're the longest republic-democracy in the world, 233 years of a constitution. And we've never had a major revolution since the Civil War. And we're pretty stable for all our factionalism. And we have an amazing ability, if we go to meritocratic, legal, and diverse immigration, to bring in talent from all over the world with a promise that anybody can succeed. We have no aristocracy, no birth-determined grandees. That's very rare in history. And so, we champion the middle and the lower classes over the well-born. And we don't use race or religion as criterion for success. Everybody else does, Charles. Or ideology. We have no commissar system, at least yet.
Yeah.
We're getting there, but not yet.
Right, that's the point, because, I feel like we spend so much time rewriting history, fighting the wars of yesteryear, using presentism, to make decisions right now. And some of these things you talked about that by the way, we should be celebrating the success, in my opinion, that we've had, because all human beings around the planet have sinned. All countries have sinned. I don't know any that have really done what we've done in such a short period of time to get where we are. And yet it still seems to be very alluring to make policies based on race and to hurt some people who, Victor, it seems like what they're doing is ushering in mediocrity and underachievement and saying it's okay if you're the right skin color. And if you overachieve, it's too bad because you're the wrong skin color.
Yeah, they're importing poverty because they're afraid that when people are independent and control of their destinies, they do well and then they can't control them. So that their agenda on the left doesn't appeal to human nature. So they either have to change the rules of government or bring in new constituencies or deceive us about who they are. But they can't just say, I'm a leftist, this is a leftist agenda, you'll like it. No one in their right mind would ever vote for it.
Victor, you are just one of the best. I appreciate you taking time on this very special town hall. Thank you very much.
Thank you.